Driving to LA has been very stressful.
I don't want to hear this no more.
In the span of the 6 hours, we probably had to pull over about 20 times. Mike would throw screaming fits anytime he couldn't have my phone.
Calm down.
He started kicking the back of my seat, hitting his brother. He would unbuckle himself. He'd throw his shoes around.
Sit back and buckle up now.
He threw an entire pop down the middle of the vehicle.
We got him a drink at a restaurant that had one of those plastic cups with the lid on it. And as soon as I took the phone away, he hit the cup and sent the liquid flying all over the rental vehicle. And at that point, I pulled him out of the car and I spanked him right there.
It feels like we may never get to Los Angeles, but I am very determined to get the help and see Dr. Phil. My 7-year-old son, Michael, is out of control. He'll throw things, he'll kick things, he'll lash out and attack his brother.
You better quit trying to hurt your brother.
Michael has been doing the online schooling. He's missed probably weeks because he just does not and will not do it.
You can't act like this.
Michael's gotten so upset that he took an entire pencil and stabbed it into the cushion of my bench.
I've seen him slap the dog across the face. He's also gone as far as to grab her by her tail and throw her. There was this one time he took his nails across his older brother's back and he scratched them all the way down, and it left nail marks and scratch marks.
Michael gets so bad that I have to have my boyfriend, Ricky, help me.
Michael was getting physical with his brother and our cats almost on a daily basis. So we had to put him in restraining holds. We pulled his arms down onto his chest. And then we put our legs on top of his legs so he can't move. We have tried every form of discipline, and everything we have been doing is not being successful.
Michael's behaviors have gotten me so stressed, but I feel like it's going to kill me. I am exhausted.
Wow, that's tough to live with, right?
Yes.
How long did it take y'all to get here?
About 3 days.
3 days? And for those of you at home that don't know, right now because of the pandemic and the CBS Viacom COVID-19 task force restricts us from having guests fly in at this point, so people have to drive. And I take very seriously the commitment you made to get here. Let's get on the table what the magnitude of what we're dealing with here. He's threatened to kill the family. He hits, kicks, bites. He's been abusive with the pets.
Yes.
That has to stop
Yes.
today. The pets either have to be rehomed temporarily or something has to happen. We can't have that. And there's a 19-month-old baby involved here as well.
Yes.
And he's terrorized that child.
Yes.
And again, that has to stop. Now, you have a theory as to why he's this way?
I truly don't, other than possibly feelings that he has due to his disease. He has cystic fibrosis.
Right.
And he just doesn't know how to verbally talk about it to get his expressions and his feelings and emotions out.
It's almost a struggle waking up knowing that we have to face what the day has ahead of us with Michael.
Yeah. So there's an older brother that he's aggressed against.
Yes.
He's 4 years older, and he's bigger and stronger, but nonetheless, Michael's the aggressor.
Yeah.
And these are some of the injuries, the scratches on his back, bites on his arm. And then you've added another child to the home, another family member that's younger, and he hasn't adjusted well to that.
No.
Then when he goes to his dad's house, that's where the 19-month-old is. So that's a problem.
There's days that I've dealt with Michael in these tantrums that I'm just beyond stressed out that I just give in to him and I let him have my phone just so he'd be quiet and just leave me alone.
No! You better stop acting like this now!
I can't take it anymore.
You're 24?
Yes.
Okay. And you're
34.
34? Ricky, do you think you're a calming influence, a neutral influence, a contributing factor to the tension in the home?
I don't directly influence the way he acts, but maybe the way I respond to him makes him act out a little bit more. Because when he
Are you confident about your approaches with him?
My approach is if he's doing something, then he needs to stop that, and he needs to stop doing what he's doing.
My question was, are you confident that you know what to do with him?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have children of your own outside this relationship?
I do not have children of my own, but I think everyone that deals with children at some point starts to gain a parental instinct.
Yeah. Faren recorded Michael after taking a video game away. And this gave me some insight into how they interact in the disciplinary mode. Let's take a look.
Please sit up. Sit up, please. I'm not asking. You need to sit up now.
Sit up.
Mind me. Mind me. Sit up. Sit up and screw your butt back. Does that feel good when you scratch yourself and hit yourself?
No, he's intentionally making himself more angry so he can act bad again.
I said to stop scratching my couch.
See how red his face is? That isn't from him crying so hard, it's from him hitting himself in the face.
Well, I know. I said to quit scratching my couch. I'm not going to tell you again. I'm going to bend you over my knee. I'm going to whoop your butt. You're going to stop bleeding all over the place and you're going to leave this on. Do you understand me? Leave it on! Yes, you need to have it on because you're bleeding all over the place. I said keep it on. You know, that looks really retarded when you do that. I said keep it on, now.
As you look at that, what's your thought about it?
He doesn't want to do what I ask him or tell him to do.
I saw something different there that was very troubling to me. It really seemed to me like the two of you were antagonizing the situation. I looked at this 10 times looking for something that one was constructive or two gave him a face-saving way out of the situation, a way for him to comply without feeling like he was just completely caving. And I couldn't find it. I couldn't find anything that looked to me to be anything other than bullying behavior. Certainly when you came in and started mocking his red face and assigning motives to him.
I wasn't bullying him at all. When he does the stuff like hit his face, I've seen him hit his face before intentionally to make himself more mad so he can go and find reasons to scream and do.
So you're justifying it?
I'm not justifying it.
Well,
But
what are you doing then?
These behaviors happen every day, and these are not to a fault of our own.
Well, that's your opinion.
Yeah.
My opinion is what you're doing there is like throwing gas on a fire.
Michael is not the problem.
No, you're gonna sit right here.
You're gonna sit there.
The problem is his mother's parenting.
You shouldn't even be acting like this. All because you want to throw a fit.
Michael is at my house Friday through Sunday. I let Michael play video games on Sundays from the time that he wakes up till about 2:30 when I take him home. The one time that Michael had a tantrum at my house was when I took video games away from him. He was 6 years old, and he threw a big fit and screamed at the top of his lungs. I left him alone for about 10-15 minutes. He calmed down, and we went throughout our day.
But you can't.
Faren feeds into his behavior and makes it worse by literally poking the tiger. Faren sent me a video of Michael, and he was sitting down in the corner by the bed with a coat over his head, crying.
You are gonna learn one way or another.
He was scared, and that she was antagonizing him.
Who's the adult? Who's the adult? Who's the parent? Who?
She saw a child acting out, but I saw a child backed into a corner. I don't understand why this has gotten to this point.
You've been listening to everything so far. What would you like to add just off the top here?
That I do see her antagonizing him, and it doesn't make the situation any better.
And how is he at your house?
For the most part, he's very well behaved.
But at your house, you don't require much of him in terms of boundaries, performance, chores. It's kind of a bit of a vacation for him, right?
Kind of.
You said recently that he terrorized your 19-month-old child. What happened?
He just gets a little rough with him, and he doesn't understand his strength.
Mm-hmm. And you had to deal with that with him, correct?
I had to tell him more than 3 times, so I spanked him.
Uh-huh. And what was his reaction?
He stopped.
So it's a different environment there than it is at your house. And look, this is not a competition.
No, it's not.
It's not a competition between you and Stephen. The competition here is to have a win for the child.
Yes.
Right.
That's what we want. Faren sent us videos that she recorded of Michael's behavior. She threatens to spank or whip him, and other times she actually does hit the child. Let's take a look at the montage.
If you ever hurt that dog, I'm hurting you.
I'm gonna spank your butt. I'm gonna whoop your butt. I'm gonna whoop your butt.
You better stop or I'm gonna spank your butt.
I said to stop. I said keep it on. Now.
I don't really like spanking the kids because it makes me feel bad to do it.
He gets a lot of that because he misbehaves a lot, right? What I always look for is for the parent to be the calm in the eye of the storm. But as I looked at these videos, the most frequent things that I saw were grabbing him, hitting his arm, slapping his head or hand, spanking, cursing. At one point, he says he looks retarded, which I can't think of any circumstance in which that would be an appropriate thing to say. And these are things you recorded and sent to us. So I assume you sent it to us for a reason, that it's representative of what you have to deal with and wrestle with every day.
Yes, just some of them.
When we tell him to go calm down and we try to get him, or we try to back off of the situation, he will come to us.
Or seek out our animals.
Or seek out the animals, or
son.
seek out the older brother.
Right. I'm trying to be constructive here because I see times that you just seem to not be willing to let him cool down.
Michael likes to play games like Fortnite and Call of Duty. Michael was about 3 years old when he started playing video games. The very first game that he ever played was Mafia 3. It's a first-person shooter where you kill people. I do not regret letting him play video games at a young age, but I do think they may have shown him some aggressive ways.
My grandson Michael's behavior has gotten worse in the past year. His mother and her boyfriend, Ricky, are now living together, and Ricky is playing a more parenting role now.
Get back on the couch and go to your mom.
Michael resents Ricky disciplining him.
Sit on the couch now.
Right now, before I come back over there.
Then, in the past couple months, Michael has a new family member living in the home. He tries to boss the younger child by placing his hand over his mouth, because one more child is going to take the attention away from mom. Michael is under a lot of stress right now. Other people coming into the household have escalated behaviors that he already had. I am concerned and fearful once Michael hits puberty, if these behaviors don't change, that he may do something to either seriously hurt himself or one of the family members.
Well, join us virtually is Faren's stepmom, Valinda. Valinda, thank you for joining us. What's your take on all of this? You don't believe that this is just an evil child?
Oh, no, not by any means. I feel that there's a lot of contributing factors to all of this. And it isn't that he doesn't like Ricky or the new child, but when somebody else starts to parent a child, it can increase stressors for them.
Well, you think that he's well behaved at your house and engages with you, and you can shift the focus away rather than have a confrontation.
Yes, I do think he's better behaved for me, but that's for shorter periods of time too.
Right.
And one of the big issues is the video game conflict. And at my house, we have no video games.
Right.
So there's never an issue there as far as that goes.
Well, I think you've brought up some good points. If you look at a 3-year period, right here at 3 years old, Faren, you and Steven split. Okay, so that's a stressor. And then you move in with a new boyfriend. That's a stressor. Then there's a move in with your mom, who he was very close to, and then 2 months later, she passes away.
Yes.
And then you move into your current home, so that's another move. And then you meet Ricky, who moves in 8 months ago. And then another child moves in 3 months ago. Okay, you've got 8 stressful life events in 3 years. 1 divorce, 3 moves, 2 new men, 1 death, and a new child added to the mix. All competing for your attention.
Yeah.
All threatening to take away mom. And this thing about the video games, Stephen, you say you don't regret letting him play video games from the age of 3. Video games can become very addictive, and when you take that away, it can be like taking a drug away.
Yeah.
And
I
they can
agree.
go into withdrawals and get anxious about not having that.
Yeah.
Particularly when you're wanting to escape into it because you got 8 stressful events in your life.
Yeah.
There have been 2 times when Faren has told me that she wanted to give Michael up for adoption. The last time was just a few months ago. Faren told me that she thinks he'd be better off in a foster care. I told her that she needs to step up and be a parent. I love Michael. I would never give up on him.
You're not getting your tablet. I just said no. Don't tell me yes. Who's the adult? Who's the adult? Who's the parent? Who? Because a child doesn't tell an adult yes when I'm telling you no. You can go without games for the rest of the weekend and next Tuesday and Thursday. Yes. That is your punishment. And if you keep acting like this, it's going to be longer, and I'm just going to keep racking up the time. You are going to learn one way or another.
Okay, now I want to look at this for just a second.
You're not getting your tablet. I just said no. Don't tell me yes. Who's the adult? Who's the adult? Who's the parent?
Okay, at this point, who's the adult? Who's the adult? Who's the parent? That's like you're on the schoolyard with somebody. Who's the adult? Who? It's like you're trying to pick a fight with somebody if you listen to it just that way. And let's see where it goes.
You can go without games for the rest of the weekend and next Tuesday and Thursday. Yes. That is your punishment. And if you keep acting like...
Okay. So then at that point, you take it to the next level. You're going to go without games for the rest of the weekend. And then next week, I'm going to add that on. Now, a 7-year-old child, that's like telling a teenager, you're grounded for life. What do you expect him to say or do at this point?
To try to get him to listen to me.
So you really think at that point he's going to go, okay, now I get it. Now I see you're the adult, I'm the child. I chose this behavior and I connected to that consequence. So now I get it. I need to behave better. He's 7.
And that's why I reached out to you, Dr. Phil. I want your help.
I just want to tack something on. With Michael's oppositional defiant disorder, that is a condition where it makes you defiant to authority. So with that being said, it makes his behavior just that much worse whenever stuff like this happens.
Well, you're really going to give me a tutorial session on ODD? If you are going to do that, then what is the appropriate approach to parenting someone that has direct oppositional response to authority?
How do we approach it? That's what we're asking.
You tell me. You're giving me this tutorial.
Okay.
So you tell me.
I don't know. You tell me.
If you have a rebellious child that in fact you say is ODD, the last thing you want to do with that kind of child is take an authoritarian, autocratic, do as I tell you right now approach. That's why I asked you in the beginning, how confident are you of your approach to parenting this child? You see, I think you're in an unfair position. The deck's stacked against you coming in. No, I'm telling you, I'm actually arguing your case here. You just don't know it. You could be Dr. Phil, and it would be stacked against you because he's 7 and you're coming in competing for his mother. You can't be the disciplinarian.
So he can't help me with telling him what he needs
Absolutely not. He can support you 100%, but he can't deliver the message. He could have if the child was 2 or 3, but once they get above 5, 6, 7 years old, you're dead in the water. He has to work through you. I'm going to tell you what I think needs to happen.
Okay.
First off, Stephen, I think you made a serious error in judgment in getting this child on video games at 3 years old. And so he needs to be weaned off of those games. Secondly, your definition of parenting is authoritarian. So you have to have a whole new parenting approach, a whole new parenting style. And he needs to be disciplined on one plan by 2 people. That's his mother and his father. Now, that doesn't mean that there can't be rules that are observed by everyone consistently, but you're escalating the situation by prodding him to comply in a crisis. The time to get him to observe and recognize his rebellious ways is not when he's in a rebellious crisis. The time to do that is when he's calm.
Calm down.
Your situation can improve 100% in a 30-day period with the right parenting approach, which is not authoritarian. And frankly, It's with a more passive approach as a parent. Lower the rhetoric, lower the tone, be the calm in the middle of the storm. For example, I would whisper to the child, not yell at the child. I would whisper to him. I mean, seriously, like, tell me what you want. And right now, your house is overpopulated. This child that moved in with you, I would find another place for that child to be. Ricky should find another place to live. If you're putting your child in the number one slot, it should be you and your 2 boys living in that house. And you don't have to do this on your own. We're in a pandemic right now, and I will get you some help that can actually beam into your living room and help you and with him. You're the only mother he'll ever have.
I know.
Are you willing to take the help and do the things that I'm talking about?
Yes. I would really like that.
This can turn around dramatically.
I hope so.
I'm telling you. Okay. Stephen, does that make sense to you?
Yes, sir.
But you've got to help here. Valinda, does it make sense to you?
Exactly. It's perfect sense.
This child's had 8 major stressors in a 3-year period. He is stressed. We need to de-stress him, and not with medication. That's part of the help I'm going to bring you. And I'll do that through Doctor On Demand, which is our own company. So we'll get that set up so we'll keep you safe during the pandemic. Okay. But we'll do that.
Threatened by her 2nd grader.
Calm down.
He's threatened to kill the family. He hits, kicks, bites.
But Dad claims
The problem is his mother's parenting.
I said to stop.
New Dr. Phil. Check your local listings.